So, getting started, what you need to do is click here and start a new production. This will be our project for which everything sits underneath. Bookings, schedules, call sheets, etc. It's also creating a top-line project brief which can be shared with cruise members to give them more information for the shoot day. So, you'll need to give it a name and fill in the required fields to create your production. You can enter an agency if there's an agency attached to your project. Select your production contact, that's the sub-user for which you'd like to be the key point of contact. A description, and add any information you'd like for the whole crew to see. Select the key crew members already on the production, such as director, producer, cinematographer. These are the crew members who are important for the rest of the crew to know are attached to the production. Now, this is optional, but you may wish to list out some top-line key dates to help provide more information to the crew. If you would like to attach any important documents such as storyboards, you may do that here. Okay, so click finish and we have our production. As you can see, here is our production we've just created with all the details we entered. This acts as a brief if we do publish a booking receipt to our crew members. From here, in the top navigation, you can see our three Bega features: bookings, shoot schedule, and call sheets. Let's navigate to bookings to get started with our booking sheet. So, if we are in a new production and just getting started adding our crew to bookings, there's a few different ways to start. One, you could select start blank, which is going to give us a full blank canvas to start adding crew and departments. Or two, you could select start from template, which is going to give us an example crew list, just without the specific contacts selected for each role. These are the most common crew list configurations crews have seen. 3, you could select start from a previous team, which is going to basically duplicate a previous production created in Cruise. Or 4, you can select a save team, which is essentially a previously created and saved template created by you. You can create this at any point in time when in bookings. For the purposes of today, I'm going to be selecting start from scratch, which will allow us to run through what bookings can do in more detail. So just before jumping in, we need to select the departments we wish to group crew into, as well as selecting the key shoot dates. Selecting the key shoot dates sets the default hold dates for crews so that when we add crew members, we do not have to select hold dates for every crew member. Instead, we give everyone the same hold dates as a starting point and then just adjust from there. So I've selected recce for 1 day and a shoot day for 2 days. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so here we have our empty bookings table, just with our departments added ready for us to flesh out with roles and contacts. So from here, there's 2 ways to start fleshing out the booking sheet. We can add new rows and simply select the role. This is useful if we haven't yet booked our crew or we've only partially booked our crew and we're just planning out which resources will be required. And when we're ready and we know who that person is and when they're available, we can then just select that crew member specifically in the drop-down. So in terms of adding contacts, you can do that here in the sidebar by clicking Add Contact. You can add someone who is a cruise member already by searching for them in here, or if they aren't a member of Cruise, you can add them via this form and by clicking Add Contact. The other way you can do it is by going into My Contacts specifically, and in here you'll be able to see the master lists of all the contacts, and you can add new contacts in here and organize them in custom lists. That way you can add your contacts and come over here and just drag them across into the appropriate departments. So now you can see I've dragged every number of my contacts into the appropriate departments and selected their role on the production. We can easily drag and drop to reorder these cruise members. We can drag and drop to reorder the whole department if we wish. If you like to edit department names, this can be done at any point by clicking here to edit a department or clicking here to add a new department, or here to edit the configuration we set when entering bookings earlier. Within the table itself, everything is customizable to match the way you like to work. If we click here, we can easily customize our column options by hiding columns we don't need and moving the order of the columns to bring the priority cell forward. Once we're happy with the crew arrangement that we've made, it's time to start entering in more detail for each crew member. You might notice by default, our crew has been given the hold dates we entered as key shoot dates in the setup steps. If everybody has the same hold dates, that's perfect. Otherwise, we'll need to click hold dates to edit these. Hold dates are amongst the most important components of crewing a production and can sometimes be quite dynamic. It's important that they are recorded clearly and in a central location. So if we head into hold dates, you can see each has a task type, date range, hold type, and response status. The task type covers activity of the day or the purpose of the booking. This acts as both a guide for preparation, but is also tied to rate cards, which we will discuss later. If we toggle flexible, this changes the booking from a set date to a flexible block of work, which we can set as hours, days, or weeks. Selecting the dates allows us to choose a date range in the calendar. As you can see, previously selected dates are highlighted here too. Next, we select a hold type. Cruise uses industry standard hold types, and you can see here in the drop down a careful explanation for what each hold type means. I'm choosing a 1H or first hold as we're close to shooting. Everything is locked in and we're on one stage down from a confirmed hold. As this crew member has been booked and secured, I will set this to accepted. But if you haven't yet booked your crew member, you might keep this in awaiting approval if you're still checking availability. Okay, so another very important part of crewing is coming in on budget and tracking costs. Cruise allows us to record unlimited detailed rate cards for each of our contacts. From there, we can select which rate card is being used for the specific production. Rate cards allow us to easily reference crew members' rates. They are also linked to creating an estimate in the estimate cell. And importantly, when we publish a booking receipt with our crew member, it ensures the agreed rate is correct between both parties. For the purposes of this tutorial, we will keep rates, estimates, and fringes top line, but please watch our separate video where we'll delve into more detail around how all of this works. So, if our crew member doesn't yet have a rate card added, let's go ahead and add one. Okay, so down here under rates is where we can start adding all the important rates. So we just add a new row and select the task type. As you can see, task types are grouped together based on how they relate to charge rates, and they are also mapped to the task type we selected in hold dates. We'll discuss this further in the estimates feature. We can select a fringe setting here. Fringe settings are unique settings around rules for overtime, night loading, percentages to add on top of rates. In the last part of the rates card, there is a gear list, which we can list out the crew member's gear and rates for gear. If a piece of gear is included as part of the crew member's day rate, you would toggle this to yes, so that it won't be added to the estimate later. Once we close the window and finish creating the rate card, it will be saved against our crew member's contact for future use on any production. Back out in the main table, you can select a different rate card, add more, or manage all the rate cards from My Contacts. If we're going to be publishing a booking receipt to the crew member, this toggle here gives us the option of hiding the rate card here from the crew member. The next cell we can discuss is budget estimate actuals. You can see here if you have added hold dates and a rate card has been selected, the cell will create an estimate as a starting point using what it has. In the setup of the cell up top here, we can enter a budget for this role. The estimate appears here based off the summary below, or we can select to use custom if we aren't calculating below. We also have the actual cell here. For estimate and actual, the differential will be shown here automatically. Again, we can select a fringe setting, attach files, or add important comments here. If we open the cell, you can see Cruise has added 2 rows for each task type required from our crew member as per our hold date selection. If there is a corresponding task type in the rate card, it will automatically create an estimate. This auto calculation is generally to be used as a starting point that we would check over and enter in any unexpected overtime or night loading. Of course, we can add other line items we need here. We can either draw from the rate card when adding new rows or enter in new values. The last table down here is the gear to be added to the estimate. It comes across from the rate card automatically, and we can from here delete, add, or edit any item. Toggling the inclusive cell will remove or add the charge to the total. So, in terms of totals, we have our labor costs broken down here with overtime and night loading subtotals, gear totals here, and if our fringe setting uses a percentage, this gets added here. Some producers prefer just to add a fringe rate to cover any surprises such as tax, overtime, etc., etc. At this stage, the budget estimate actual cell is purely internal and will not be publishable to the crew member. These icons represent the information which can never be seen by the crew member. Which brings us to the compliance cell. This is where we can house important documents and certifications we require for our crew members to be compliant on set. We can store them against our contact card long term, where they can be referenced for any future productions. We just select the expiry date, click to upload the file, and mark the status as necessary. In this case, I'll select compliant as the certificate has been checked and is currently valid. Any documents added here will be saved against the contact profile for next time. You can also manage these from My Contacts. Okay, so that covers the more involved columns, with the remaining columns being file uploads, dietary requirements, and booking agent selection. Both dietary and booking agent selection are perpetual cells, meaning that the data is saved against the contact profile and will appear in the next production. So, we have our list of crew neatly organized and have entered all the production details for each of our crew members' hold dates, rates, and all the important stuff. If we wish, we can publish a booking receipt to our crew members so that they have a copy of the production overview, hold dates, and rate card if we marked it as visible to the crew member. This is essential to ensure both sides have a shared and agreed source of information regarding their booking. We can send to all crew at once, or we can select individual crew and just send to them separately. We can choose to send via SMS or email. After we publish to the crew, any changes we make to our booking sheet will be visible on their end instantly. In this column called Publish Status, you can see if the crew member is ready to be published, or not ready, or has been published already. Incomplete means they are not ready to be published as they have some incomplete information. Unpublished means they are in a ready state but have not been published yet, and of course, published means they have been successfully published. I'm going to now select these crew members and click Publish. You'll see this overlay which outlines what will happen next, and we can select either SMS, email, or both. For now, SMS is for Oz and New Zealand only, but stay tuned as we roll out more countries for SMS. Okay, so I've clicked Publish, and now you can see their status has changed to Published. Okay, that's a wrap on bookings in Cruise. Next, follow along on our Schedule Builder tutorial. If you haven't already, please sign up to Cruise today to discover a better way of working.